Dear students, good morning. We are getting ready to celebrate the 74th Republic Day. We request the students, those who are standing in India or letters, you are kindly requested to keep the instruction that were given to you by the concerned authorities prior to you. Students, those who are sitting, we request you to stand up, please. We will be witnessing the presence of more than 200 ex-servicemen of Indian Army. Therefore, it's an entire celebration that's filled with dignity and decorum. All the students and the entire gathering is kindly requested to maintain the discipline and silence all through the celebration. Dear gathering and the students, please note, you are kindly requested
ಹಲೋ.
ಸೇರಿರುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಹಾಗೂ ಪ್ರೇಕ್ಷಕ ಬಂಧುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಿನಂತಿ, ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಉದ್ದಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಶಿಸ್ತನ್ನ ಸಂಯಮವನ್ನ ಪಾಲಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಮತ್ತು ಕಳಕಳಿಯಿಂದ ವಿನಂತಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಪ್ರೇಕ್ಷಕ ವರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ತಮ್ಮ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಫೋಟೋಶೂಟ್
Students, those are representing letter A to my right side. The formation of letter A is not to the perfection, so request the students to give you 101%. The remaining letter seems to be perfect to the core. So the students, those are representing letter A, once again we request you to give you 101% and form the letter A to the perfection. Students, those are wearing the tricolor t-shirts and also the hats, you are requested not to take out the caps at any moment of the celebration. Let what may come, you are kindly requested not to take out the caps for any circumstances. The teaching and the non-teaching faculty, those who are standing in the corners, you are kindly requested to make use of the rules that are there in the amphitheater and stand on the yellow dot that is marked precisely for the celebration of the 74th Republic Day. Teachers and the non-teaching faculty, those who are standing in the sideways in the corners, you are kindly requested to join the rows of the amphitheater and stand on the marks that are given to you. Once again, we request the staff, both teaching and the non-teaching, those who are standing in the corners, you are kindly requested to come to the amphitheater, occupy your presence in the rows and stand maybe on the yellow dot that is marked for the celebration of the 74th Republic Day. Dear students, those are representing the letters of India, you are kindly requested not to sit. We see a few students sitting. We request you to keep standing and form those
भारत की इस मिट्टी का हमको है कर्ज चुकाना, हिंदुस्तानी सच्चे बनकर हमें अपना फर्ज निभाना। ओ माँ तुझे नमन, तुझे नमन। ओ माँ तुझे नमन, तुझे नमन। इस माटी में जन्म लिया है, इसके बड़े उपकार हैं। ये माटी पहचान मेरी है, यही मेरा आधार है। इसी के कारण मुझे मिला है मान और सम्मान यहाँ। एक हिंदुस्तानी के रूप में पहचाने मुझे सारा जहां। इसकी शान में देंगे झुका मिलकर सारा जमाना। हिंदुस्तानी सच्चे बनकर हमें अपना फर्ज जीवन दायिनी मातृभूमि है, प्राणों का संचार करे। सोना चांदी जैसी फसल से जीवन को साकार करे। कर्जदार है तन मन मेरा, भारत की इस माटी का।
Dear students, we have last 15 minutes to begin the celebration. As we observe in the drone, the representation of letter India seems to be not to the perfection, so therefore we request the students, those who are in the tricolor, to give you 101%, maybe for another 45 minutes or so, not to take out your hats. And also the students, those who are standing in the borders, you are kindly requested to stand in the yellow dot itself, which is marked once again. We are bringing it to your notice precisely for the celebration of the 74th Republic Day. The students, those who are standing in the borders, seems to be dispersed and standing in your own favorite places. We request you to stand in the dots, especially those yellow marks. Students those are standing in the borders, we kindly request you to stand in the yellow dot, which is marked precisely for the celebration of the 74th Republic Day. The borders have to be to the perfection. The entire borders, the students those are standing in the borders to the right, to the left, and also to the dead end, you are kindly requested to stand in the dots that are marked. And also the students those are representing the letters of India, you are kindly requested to give your 101%. Stand erect, not to take out your hats at any moment of the celebration. Let what may come, dear students, 45 minutes, those hats will never disappear from our heads. We also request the students those are standing in the borders to give you 101%. When we check it in the drone camera, the border seems to be very, very shabby, and students are standing in your own places. You are kindly requested to stand in the places, especially those yellow dots. All the students who are standing in the borders, you are kindly requested to stand on those yellow dots. And in the borders, there's a line. And the line is marked in both right, left, and to the dead end. You are kindly requested to stand on that line itself. You're not supposed to go beyond that particular line. And that line particular symbolizes the border. So you're kindly requested to stand in that line itself. Students, please note, if you are standing near the borders of this amphitheater, you're kindly requested to stand on that line itself. If you find yourself you are beyond the line, you're kindly requested to come inside the line and give your 101%.
ಬಂಧುಗಳೇ, 74ನೆಯ ಗಣರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವದ ಆಚರಣೆಯ ಸಮೀಪಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಕೇವಲ 10 ನಿಮಿಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಈಗಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ನಿಲುವು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ಗೌರವವನ್ನು ಸೂಚಿಸುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕು. ದಯಮಾಡಿ ಹೈಸ್ಕೂಲ್ನ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಲೆ ಆಚೀಚೆ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ಲೆಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ. ದಯಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಈ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸಾಲಾಗಿ ನಿಂತುಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಗೆರೆ ಇದೆ, ಲೈನ್ ಇದೆ, ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಒಂದು ಹಳದಿ ಬಣ್ಣದ ಚುಕ್ಕಿ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಚುಕ್ಕಿಯ ಆಚೀಚೆಗೆ ಕಾಲು ಹಾಕಿಕೊಂಡು
Pin correct. Gods. Hello. Hello.
The students those are making your way right now to the amphitheater, you're kindly requested to come immediately. Maybe within 2 minutes we are going to begin the celebration. So students those who are just making your way to the amphitheater right now, you are kindly requested to come immediately and accommodate yourself at the earliest. Students, you happen to listen to my instructions, you are kindly requested to implement it immediately. Come to the amphitheater and accommodate yourself at the earliest. Maybe within 2 or 3 minutes, we are going to begin the celebration. Therefore, the students and the gathering, those who are making your way right now to the celebration, you are kindly requested to accommodate yourself at the earliest. Students, those who are standing in the borders, you are kindly requested to stand in the line. The students, those who are representing the letters of India, you are kindly requested to keep the instructions that were given to you in prior. Especially the border, both the borders to the right and to the left, still seems to be not to the perfection. There's a line that is marked for you to stand. Dear students, please note, with the help of the drone, the pictures will be captured. So if the borders are not maybe to the perfection, the pictures looks ugly. We, as the students of ALVA'S Education Foundation, proud citizens of India, we are supposed to give our 101% to make this event a truly successful one. We are seeing the presence of ex-service of Indian Army, those who have served our motherland. Therefore, we need to give ourselves to celebrate the 74th Republic Day and make it a grand success one. Let's derive some inspiration, ladies and gentlemen, from our ex-servicemen from Indian Army who served and made all of us happy, our living, our day life, and also entire our existence a meaningful one by their service and sacrifices. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, dear students, let's come together, give ourselves to another 45 minutes to celebrate the 74th Republic Day and make it a grand success. Once we have the arrival of the chief guest, Sri N. Vinay Hegde, President, Nitya Education Society, the students and ladies and gentlemen, the chief guest will be escorted by NCC pilots. Later, we have the guard of honor by Senior Under Officer Vikasa S. Gowda. Then we will witness his presence on the stage along with other guests and our beloved chairman, Dr. M. Mohan Alva. Then we have the the reporting of the parade by Senior Cadet Captain Shreyas D, followed by Vande Mataram, flag hoisting and Republic Day address by the chief guest. Ladies and gentlemen, followed by, we have the Koti Condolences song. The entire gathering is kindly requested to wave the national flag with lots of pride. Then we have the vote of thanks and parade Visarjan. Once again, it's a humble request for the students, those who are standing in the borders, to the right and to the left of the main stage. You're kindly requested to give your 101%. Set the borders to the perfection, please.
Hello.
A very good morning, everyone. Welcome you all to the 74th Republic Day celebration. 26 January holds an everlasting place in our national memory. It was the day when New India was born. Republic Day is not just another occasion of festivities. It reminds us of our moral and social devotees. It is the day of commencement of a constitution. On this day, we offer homage to those brave men who sacrificed and remember those who are still risking their lives at borders. Our guest of the celebration, Sri and Vinay Hegde, now will receive the Guard of Honor from Senior Under Officer Vikasa S. Gowda as a token of respect and gratitude.
Shimon, Junior Officer, Sagar. John Shimon, Petty Officer, Harsha Reddy.
John Shimon, Cadet Officer, Jonathan D'Souza.
John Shimon, Cadet Commander Officer, Samyam. John Shimon, Petty Officer, Gagan Chakravarti. John Shimon, Junior Under Officer, Rohit Kumar.
Ladies and gentlemen, after receiving the Guard of Honor from NCC cadets led by Senior Under Officer Vikasa S. Gowda, the guests are making their way to the dais. Our today's chief guest is the most accomplished personality, Sri N. Vinay Hegde, President, Nite Education Society. N. Vinay Hegde is a staunch believer of the fact that education is the most basic necessity for social progress. He has also brought in a revolution in the field of education through his Education Trust. He is the Chancellor of Nite Deemed University and the President of Nite Education Trust. The chief guest is right now escorted by NCC pilots of Air Wing, Cadet Under Officer Diya Singh, Cadet Under Officer Vasavi Rai, Cadet Under Officer Sanika Gowda, and Cadet Under Officer Pratiksha. Ladies and gentlemen, the chief guest of our celebration, Sri N. Vinay Hegde, is a staunch believer of the fact that education is the most basic necessity of social progress. He has also brought in a revolution in the field of education through his Education Trust. January 26, 2023 marks India's 74th Republic Day. India is the cradle of civilization, abode of tradition, and mother of culture. India is not just a nation, it is a nest of unity and integration. Freedom in mind, faith in words, and pride in our hearts. Let us come together to celebrate and salute the nation on this Republic Day. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Republic Day greetings on behalf of ALVA'S Education Foundation. I extend a warm welcome to all the dignitaries, invitees, ex-servicemen of Indian Army, NCC cadets, accompanying teachers, parents, students, staff of ALVA'S Education Foundation, citizens of MOODBIDRE, and media persons for the celebration of the 74th Republic Day. Let us come together to commence a journey of peace, harmony, and progress. Now, the parade commander, Senior Cadet Captain Shreyas D, will report the parade to the chief guest.
Shimon, almost Republic Parade पर 1000 cadets adrupt. Shimon,
It's now time to unite in the chant of Vande Mataram and let the glory of our land and spirit of India live forever. Now, the cultural chief of ALVA'S Education Foundation will sing Vande Mataram as a reverence to our beloved motherland. Our hearts and souls feel ignited when we see those three ordinary colors merging together extraordinarily. Breath falls, ladies and gentlemen, but tricolor never. Now I request the Honorable Chief Guest, Sri N. Vinay Hegde, to ceremonially unfurl the national flag.
National salute! Salutations!
The national flag means all that our heroes meant in the revolutionary wars. It means justice, it speaks liberty, it echoes our happiness, and it lives our unending bonding towards our motherland. Let me now take the pleasure of inviting Sri N. Vinay Hegde, President, Nitya Education Society, to address the August gathering.
ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಬಂಧುಗಳಿಗೆ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಡೇಯ ಶುಭಾಶಯವನ್ನು ಹೇಳಲು ನಾನು ಇಚ್ಛಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಈ ಭವ್ಯ ಸಮಾರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸುವುದು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗತವಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಪುಣ್ಯ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಭಾವಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಇಷ್ಟು ಶಿಸ್ತುಬದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಸಮಯಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಸಾರವಾಗಿ ಈ ಸಮಾರಂಭವನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಿಕೊಡುವಂಥ ಈ ವಿದ್ಯಾಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಭಗವಂತನ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಲಿ ಅಂತ ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. I'm expected to speak about the Constitution of India. Constitution of India is something possibly is among the best constitution anywhere in the world. Possibly in 1946, when Britain decided to exit from India, India thought it must have its own constitution. But the independence preceded the formation of the constitution. In 1947, 15th August, was a D-Day among the history of this country, when the British existed and offered entire administration to be ruled by the Indian people. But any regulation without a proper constitution is a futile exercise. When this was considered, 6 of the most eminent people in the country, under the leadership of Ambedkar, the government decided that a constitution which is applicable for the entire country, which will bring discipline to the country, and no citizen will be left out of the support of the Constitution of India. On 26th of November, the draft copy of the Constitution was approved. And on 26th of January 1950, it became the main hallmark of our democracy. The Constitution of India, obviously largely based on the British Constitution, maybe it also took some part from the United States Constitution. The United States Constitution is rigid. It is completely governed by the judiciary, whereas in the British constituency, which is much more flexible, and the people thought that a mixture of the British, American, and maybe a few other constitutions should be the hallmark of Indian Constitution. When the Constitution came into application, the people had one idea: what should be the criteria on which people should vote, people should contest election. It was the original opinion even of Dr. Ambedkar that education must be the main criteria to allow people to become members of parliament. Unfortunately, or fortunately, then the government, one member said, 70% of the Indian population are illiterates. Are you going to have a parliament with 70% of the people excluded, or would you like to have a constitution and a parliament which is applicable for 130 million people, 130 crore people, Indian people? Ambedkar stood up and said, sorry, I overlooked this point, and I will agree that the Constitution of India must apply to every citizen of the country. When the Constitution was formed, there was multiple problems. There's a poverty level, people were left behind, and their interest had to be protected. The Constitution of India decided that reservation must be provided for the segment of people who have been left. But there was one clause which said that the Constitution exceptions made, like reservation, etc., are applicable for 15 years. And in 1965, all remains withdrawn. But unfortunately, the country could not move the speed at which it could be made applicable for the entire country. The people thought that it should not be changed, but the existing can continue. But unfortunately, again, the Constitution has been changed from 50%. Today, we are talking about 55%, talking about 60%. And a time has come, people must review whether this sort of change of constitution, the American Constitution is considered to be a rigid constitution, and not too much permission is given to make changes in the constitution without the judiciary permission. Whereas the British Constitution is much more flexible, and the Parliament possibly has a right to make changes just as it is done in a civil law. And I think these are issues which has to be readdressed by the government. And today, Constitution being amended to meet the political needs of political parties must be stopped, and we should believe this country must have a single constitution which is applicable for the entire country. Every person, whether it's a backward person, whether it's a economically backward person or a rich person, everybody must have one law, and that law should be applicable for the entire country. When the constitution was formed, there were four main pillars. One was the legislature, one was the judiciary, one was the executive, and the last one which came in was the freedom of press. And I believe that a lot of good things have happened. But the sad part is, every day the British Constitution, possibly with a simple majority, could be amended. But the American Constitution cannot be amended unless it has the approval of the judiciary. I would like to take young people to the Keshavan Bharati case. In Keshavan Bharati case, government said that you cannot amend the fundamental rights of people. Fundamental rights are their rights, and the government doesn't have the right to amend the fundamental rights. Sadly, after that, large number of changes have been made. Taking the example of education, in the field of education, the administration of the institution were given certain amount of right to manage their own institutions. But the Keshavan Bharati case made one exception in the right of property right. In the property right, they said the government, in case of emergency, can amend the clause related to property right. But all other rights, whether it's a fundamental right, whether your right for voting, whether the formation of the parliament, etc., should be controlled within the constitution of the country. Things have changed. Time has come when all of us must decide whether this country needs a new constitution. I personally feel political system changing the constitution. Again, I'll take you back to the educational. Under the Team judgment, the Supreme Court said education cannot be changed. The rights of the people like Mr. Mohan Alva should be protected by the government. But unfortunately, large changes are happening. In the higher education, the people who have built the institution today don't have the right to run those institutions. These are matters which cannot be decided in the parliament. These are fundamental rights which should go back to the people, and the people should decide what is the new constitution they would like to make, or would they like to continue with the existing constitution. These are multiple issues where a decision the government must take. And I believe, I believe, time has come. India has matured. Large number of people today know what is Constitution of India, what are your civil rights, what are the various judgments of the Supreme Court. What is disheartening is that the Keshavan Bharati case has possibly given a clear direction that the government cannot change the fundamental rights of the institution, which also includes the education institution. But smaller benches, multiple smaller benches have revised the majority decision, which is a very keen subject as far as change of constitution is concerned. I believe people, educated people like you, must believe, is it an appropriate time we should have a relook at the Constitution? What are the part of the Constitution which cannot be amended, like your personal right, like your right for voting, the formation of the assembly? When the original assembly was formed, there are two systems. One was the parliamentary system where Rajya Sabha, then Council of State, and the parliament were responsible. Thereafterwards, the state assemblies were created. Now the third line has come at the Panchayat Raj. I personally believe it's a right decision, because in the Panchayat Raj, the local people like you and me have a say in the functioning of our area. So there is no two words on that. That cannot be. As I said earlier, what are your fundamental rights? Your right to form the parliament. Can reservation after 15 years, can you have reservation in the rights of selecting your representatives? Second part is right of the executive. right to the executive, unfortunately, today is completely controlled by the political system. Whether that is permitted as per the constitution, I personally feel the parliament makes the law, executives implement it. They don't silently execute it, verbatim they have to execute it. As far as the judiciary is concerned, it's an independent body which has to work to their conscience. They should believe whether the law of the country is applicable to everyone uniformly. And unfortunately, so many judgments have come, so many changes have happened. I personally feel a time has come for us to relook at our constitution. Here I like to tell you the malice of corruption which is taking place in this country. So some solution to that also has to be found. And I believe India for everyone, India equal to everyone, must be the concept in which India should be built. I am very privileged that I have been given an opportunity to talk here. My personal feeling is that this is one of the best institutions. I run some 30, 40 institutions in Bangalore and Nitty. But I cannot say any one of that institution is half of what this institution is. The discipline I see in the assembly are exemplary. I wish Monala and mostly the faculty and the students all the best. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, sir, for those ever-inspiring words of wisdom. It's now time for the integration song, Koti Kantunsi. The students are requested to raise and wave the flag to the tunes of the song.
हमारा है
अग्नि के पुंज जले कौन सामने आएगा यह देश महान हमारा है आज ये युग के नयनों से ज्वलित अग्नि के पुंज जले कौन सामने आएगा यह देश महान हमारा है भारतवर्ष हमारा है हिंदुस्तान हमारा है भारतवर्ष हमारा है हिंदुस्तान हमारा है कोटि कंठों से निकले आज ही स्वरधारा है कोटि कंठों से निकली आज ही स्वरधारा है भारतवर्ष हमारा है हिंदुस्तान हमारा है भारतवर्ष हमारा है हिंदुस्तान हमारा है हिंदुस्तान हमारा है हिंदुस्तान हमारा है
Ladies and gentlemen, the three colors of the national flag, saffron, white and green, symbolizes the sacrifice of millions who died fighting for it, and peace and prosperity prevails in our nation and reminds us of a responsibility that we have towards our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, as we march out in the spirit of brotherhood and nationhood, let us not forget to defend the national flag with all that we have. With this note, ladies and gentlemen, we come to an end of the celebration of the 74th Republic Day. On behalf of ALVA'S Education Foundation, my hearty thanks to Sri N. Vinay Hegde, the chief guest of the day, for gracing the occasion. I thank all the servicemen of Indian Army for enhancing the dignity of the celebration by your presence. A special thanks to all the dignitaries, invitees, ANOs, GCOs, NCOs, PIs, NCC cadets, and accompanying teachers, parents, citizens of MOODBIDRE, media persons, official photographs, staff and students for taking part in the celebration. We also thank all 1,700 NCC and NSS volunteers from Udupi and Dakshina Kannada district who were part of our leadership camp, and today we were part of our 74th Republic Day. We also thank PGR Sindhya for gracing this celebration. A happy Republic Day, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Now, the senior cadet captain, Shreyas D, will seek the permission for the parade Visarjan.
Parade! Conscious! चल श्रीमान आलवास रिपब्लिक परेड को विसर्जन करने के आज्ञा दो। चल श्रीमान Parade! Visarjan!
Dear students, as we start to exit from the amphitheater, we request you to keep these 3 announcements in your mind seriously. The hostel students are requested to return the national flags in your concerned hostel.